Here. I have made you a video about how to change the y-axis belt on a Monoprice MP-10 3D printer because I had to do this recently and there were no videos out there to show me how to do it. So I thought I'd pay it forward a little bit, and hopefully if you are super stressed about this, this will help to make it easier on you. So first of all, your y-axis belt is the one that goes underneath your print bed. So it's right in the front of the printer, and you can see here the tension wheel that you can use to tighten or loosen it. These belts can snap, and mine did quite spectacularly. You guys should have seen the big mess it made in the middle of a print. And when you try to replace it, you'll find that it's a 750 millimeter long closed loop belt, G2 teeth, and it's 6 millimeters wide. But you can't buy these. You can't buy them from Monoprice, and you can't buy them from anyone else. You can, however, buy a 752 millimeter closed loop belt. 752 would be fine, except for the fact that this is your tensioner, and as you can see, it's riveted in, and you cannot get a closed loop belt through there. It's just not possible. So what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to buy a length of open belt, and you're going to have to turn it into a closed loop belt yourself. And that probably sounds intimidating, but it actually is much easier than you'd think. So first of all, you're going to need an itty bitty wrench. We didn't have a little wrench that exactly fit, so thank goodness we had this little adjustable wrench. Your mileage may vary, but I recommend having a little adjustable wrench on hand. You're also going to need a length of timing belt, and the exact link to the stuff that we bought is going to be in the notes for this this video. And you'll need some clamps. Again, we'll put a link to the stuff we used in the video. So the first thing you need to do is you need to remove your print bed from the heating bed. And the way you do this is you take those really big thumb screws that you use to level your bed and you remove them entirely. Now I'm showing you a picture of this because you can see there are two little sort of cuppy washers at the top and bottom of the spring. Don't lose those. You will be so sad if you lose those. So be really careful when you're taking them off, and maybe put them in a very safe place while you're working. Then once you've removed that, you can see it's laying here in the back. You're going to want to turn your printer on the side so that you can see these wheels that hold the heated element on. And you're going to need to use that tiny little wrench to remove these nuts. These are locking nuts. So they're not the easiest to remove, but they're not the hardest either. I'm not that strong. I did it myself. And here's a nice close-up of the nut. It turns counterclockwise, of course. And once you've got them off, you'll see that the wheels here, which the bed rolls back and forth on, are just set into this track. And you really only need to remove these two because then the whole thing kind of drops off quite nicely. So give it a little lift, slide these posts out of the wheels, and put the wheels somewhere safe. Now the underside of your heated bed is showing, and you may or may not have the fragments of your belt through this loop here. We took ours out so that we could try to find a replacement, and that's how we discovered that replacements aren't sold. So the next thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to use a yardstick or measuring tape to measure 750 millimeters of that timing belt. If you don't have a yardstick with millimeters on it, 750 millimeters is the same as 75 centimeters. So you can just use that 75 mark right there. Once you've cut that, you're going to want to put your tension wheel back on just temporarily. and slip the belt through it, and then bring the belt around and clamp it. This is where it really pays to have a friend or a spouse or a sibling or a neighbor or a stranger from the street with you, because this takes 3 hands to do. As you can see, I'm holding it in with both my hands, and I had to have my husband come along and clamp it for me with the pliers. You're going to clamp first one side and then the other, and by side I mean this side of the clamp. So this folds over the timing belt, and then you can pretty much let go of it to clamp the other side down, which you can see us doing here. Once it's clamped on, you're going to actually remove your tension wheel on the other side. But I want to point out real quick, this is the side that is not where the little clip is, right? It's opposite it, and we offset it a little bit. So the little clip that you're going to stick it into is probably going to go about here, because then as you move the belt to move the bed, this is going to slide back. And what you have to make sure you do with the clamp is that you position it so that as this slides, it never hits this wheel right here. So the next step is to go ahead and remove that tension wheel so that you can reach this all the way over to the underside of the heat plate. And you're going to kind of fold the belt in half in order to get it into this little loop here. And this is only partially in. You're going to want to get it all the way in, but I needed to test the position of the clamp, so I only put it part way, knowing that I might have to take it out. And indeed, I did have to take it out. Once you've done that, kind of hold the bed up against and move it back and forth and watch where the clamp goes. Because you can see this is where I had it clamped originally. There's a little bit of a bend there, and now it's clamped about, I don't know, maybe 2 inches further. So you're going to have to adjust that clamp once you've figured out where the crimp is in comparison to the pulley in all the positions of the bed. So all the way forward, all the way back. Once you've done that, you can put the wheels back on, and you can put the bed back on. And then I'm sad to say you're going to have to completely re-level the bed. But then, you know, once you tighten the tension, you should be good to go. In fact, we just finished printing a calibration cube, and it's fine. I'm sorry that I didn't give you guys a proper video, but I honestly wasn't sure this was going to work. So I just took pictures, and I hope this is helpful. If I ever have to do this again, I'll make you a real video. Have a good one, guys. Take care of each other. Be kind.